broadcasting live out of a basement in Appleton, Wisconsin. You're tuned into Fox City's Core on WCZR Code Zero Radio. We're the show that gives you an opportunity to call in and be a part of the show. Our call-in line is 920-358-0795. Core.
Today I'd like to welcome our special guests. They formed almost a decade ago, and this Appleton-based band recently released a single called Pissing in the Wishing Well. The track appears on the upcoming album Glass Pastures. It's going to be released on October 20th. I'd like to welcome DUSK to Fox City's Core on WCZR Code Zero Radio. How are you guys today?
Good.
Thanks, Andy.
Hi.
So this is technically the most microphones I ever had set up. A little nervous about how it's all going to work out, but so far, so good.
Awesome.
Congratulations, first of all, because when you guys released that video, it's been, what, about 4 years since your last release?
Yeah,
Was it 2018?
Yeah.
something like that. Probably about 4 years.
We take our time.
I was trying to nail down with like what kind of genre you guys are, and I know you've heard the debate before. Is it country rock? Is it kind of pop country rock?
Ooh, pop country.
Is
huh?
it 70s
We're going that way.
inspired rock? Like, how do you guys kind of categorize your own band? If somebody asked you, hey, what kind of style is DUSK?
Julia?
Well, I usually just say country rock and roll, but I was trying to push country rock and roll and soul for a while, but it didn't stick, so it's just country rock and roll now.
How about Croc and Soul?
Crock and soul?
I don't know about Crocs.
What about
If we should
not.
brand ourselves with Crocs.
bog rock?
Unless they pay.
Bog rock.
Yeah.
Wetland rock. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, wetland
That
rock.
sounds like panpipes and
Yeah.
kilts to me.
I made up the term power twang a while back, and people just keep using it. So
I like it.
yeah,
It's catchy.
Yeah.
Power twang.
yeah, power twang.
Let's go back to when DUSK started. I believe it was started just kind of messing around with soul covers.
Yeah, it was like Julia and Colin, Wildy, and I. Colin has a project called Black Thumb. He lives in California now, but he played drums for us for quite a while. And we were just kind of messing around with covers and inviting people over and to record demos with us. And Riley was one of those people, and we wrote some songs together and eventually played a show. And then after that show, Tyler jumped on board. And yeah. And then, years down the road, we did a tour on our first record, and Ridley was our roadie.
Manager.
Road
Was
dog.
road manager. And,
Was there any feeling when this project, because you were fresh off of Tenement's Predatory Headlights album, which, I mean, it was right during the end of that or right after it came out?
I think we started recording demos around the time I was working on that record. So it was just kind of like a way to get away from that record. Just to mess around with another kind of music instead of punk music.
Did you have any,
For me personally.
did you have any inkling that this would be a project that would be playing shows and be putting out full albums?
No, I don't think we had any ambition at all. We were just kind of messing around, having fun.
Yeah, because you put out a album of demos, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Or was that after you released the Too Sweet single?
Oh, I don't know. Actually, that's
It
a
was
good.
before. Yeah,
Okay.
we did a whole demo thing. I
Yeah.
remember.
So maybe at that point, it was like, we'll just put this out and get it out there and see what happens, or put it out there and stop, or keep doing other things?
I don't even know if it was. I think we were just having fun, kind of.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a let's see what happens kind of thing. It was just like, let's do this thing and have a good time.
Then it turned into something much more.
Yeah, when we made our first album, I feel like then we got in our heads about it and we're like, we got to produce this thing. And then it turned into a real thing, kind of, in a way. Instead of just like a casual good time.
Kind of go ahead a bit. You put out the single Too Sweet, and that got just a really good response. What like, kind of, who wrote that song?
Amos wrote it.
Amos wrote that song.
Like the night before we recorded it, just because we were recording 2 songs for a single that someone wanted to put out.
Forward Records wanted.
And we needed 2 songs, but we didn't have them. So I just, you know, I wrote a couple songs the night before. That's what you get.
I was wondering about that because you guys kind of are all inputting as far as songwriting, and I didn't know if you like sort of sang the songs that you wrote. So I figured, well, that must be a Julia song then if she's singing the lead on it. But it's interesting. So you wrote it. When you wrote it, did you have in mind Julia singing it?
I can't remember. Yeah.
I was gonna sing both the songs on that 7-inch, but then "Bored Recluse" is the B-side, and it just made more sense for Amos to sing it like with the song how it sounded. So, yeah.
I think I did. I recorded a demo of me singing "Too Sweet," but you know, originally when I was writing it, I had in mind that NRBQ song. Do You Feel It? I don't know if you're familiar with NRBQ at all, but it's just kind of like them chanting "Do You Feel It" over and over again. So it felt like more of an instrumental to me, but once like it really came together, it became an actual song.
Yeah, I think for how fresh those songs were, thinking about it, that we were like all in the basement. We were kind of spending a while like figuring out not only like just like the instrumentation, but like the arrangement of the song. It really kind of was like, it felt like more just like pieces of a song. So that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing with this band is even if, you know, someone writes a song, we generally arrange it all together and it turns into something new. So, I mean, that song would not have been what it is if I had just written and recorded it myself. So.
Yeah. And then you did a video for that song, which, I mean, I think the response for the video is really good as well. If you had a signature song, would you say that was the signature song for you guys?
That was like the first hit song, I think.
The first hit.
First hit.
So a lot of people, I mean, like,
Billboard.
yeah, Pitchfork reviewed it, and the video was a lot of fun. At that point, I wasn't even on the single for the recording.
Oh, yeah.
Amos had played the steel guitar solo, so I was basically just playing Amos in the video.
And it was done during a weekday. And my previous job, it was like I had to be to work at like 7. So after that happened, where I wasn't in that video, then I was like, whatever it takes, like I'll make sure to be there for all future videos, because that'll last forever.
And that was our first interaction with Finn, because like I don't even remember. We were like, oh, we want to make a video, but we don't know anybody who makes videos, and we don't necessarily want to do it ourselves. And I was like, well, I think I heard about this guy that's like going to Lawrence, and like I took a class with his mom when I went to Lawrence, and I'm pretty sure he like makes videos, and he's like friends with Riley and Forrest Bricko, and he's kind of a weird, crazy guy, you know. And then, so I just like called him up, and I think we like met at like the Lawrence cafeteria and like talked about it, and then he came over to our house and did it in one night, and that was the start of Finn doing most of our videos, or maybe all of them.
His work is amazing. Like that video turned out great. And one thing I really like about the videos that Finn does is that he incorporates a lot of like the community into the video. And your latest video, like Pissing in a Wishing Well, there's lots of shots downtown, and that's a lot of your other videos as well. You can kind of pick out spots that he uses. I think that's kind of a cool thing for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you have any input as far, like when Finn comes to you guys, or when you guys go to Finn to do a video, do you sort of give him an idea, or do you just let him hear the song and let him run with it?
Well, yeah. He always wants an idea, but I think he wants inspiration more than anything. And so we kind of have this understanding that's like, we're going to give him an idea. It'll turn into Finn's vision, which is going to be incredible, you know. So it doesn't matter whether it's like the idea that we initially had in our head or not, because he's so good at what he does. That's going to turn into something awesome either way.
There was one, I don't remember what video, but I think you've got the drums in the like a kind of a lake or a spot, and
in like this marsh area.
Yeah.
We had to walk That was up north. We had to walk all of the entire drum set. We had to walk like a mile and a half into these woods to get to this little bridge where he wanted to shoot us. And we just kind of crawled into this like long grassy area and set up the drums on like this pile of dirt. And like we didn't realize until the end of the shot that there was like a wasp nest right next to me. And we just got really lucky that nothing bad happened.
So Tyler mentioned like the coming and making sure you're there for the shoot. So the Too Sweet video was done in a day, but there's lots of like these videos aren't just somebody's just sitting there with, their store-bought camcorder and shooting something. At least I don't think it is. Like these are like really big. Like normally you guys are in some big scene. There's, you guys are in a barn. You guys are in a big stage or something. So is it kind of nice to have a band of people that get together to show up and spend a whole day doing these videos? And it's not like, well, I'm available for 20 minutes on Saturday around noon if, you can quickly film, unless there is somebody in the band like that.
Yeah, no, we understand. Like, I mean, through the recording process, that there's a lot of time that takes to flush out ideas, to put together a song, to record a song, layering parts. And so when we're making a video and Finn has to do 8 to 10 takes where he's changing out lenses, he's doing a full band shot, then it's individual shots, and it would be best if it's like if Julia's being filmed that Amos and I still play even though it's not being focused, just in case we're caught. It's the same feeling of like the camaraderie of it takes time to put it together. Like it's never an easy process. So it's pretty cool that we're all patient and that we hang out. We understand what it takes to make something like that.
How important do you feel music videos are today? I mean, like the MTV's not a big thing. But do you feel like the music video is still an important kind of a promo piece for a band to do?
Music videos are more important than ever. That's right, Frank.
I was like, I think you're doing a Frank.
I can't tell what Frank would. I don't know what Frank would say about that.
Yeah, he'd probably say, "The music video died in 1987." I don't know. I think I don't know that I should speak about the relevance, maybe, but as someone who grew up mostly like watching music videos on YouTube and stuff, like sort of like post television era for me, but it's still fun. Like I still watch new ones, and I think people do the same.
It probably keeps people in front, like listening to the whole song, because normally, if the visuals, and Finn's really good with visuals, is kind of being interesting to you, you'll keep watching it. Maybe, that song will get stuck in your head.
Yeah, stick through the whole thing instead of just a little bit on Spotify or something, maybe.
I don't know of another band in Appleton, and correct me if I'm wrong, that does the amount and the quality of videos that you guys do, and collectively as a whole, out of like Crutch of Memory. Like you all have your different projects, and you're all like, I know Boy Howdy has put out some videos, and the Wishbone Breakers, and Julia had a great solo album out last year, and Amos, you had a solo album. Ridley, I know you've got projects, and Tyler, right?
I write songs. Okay. But no, I mean, Dust for me is the only project.
Anything?
Yeah.
Ridley? Same thing?
Yeah, kind of. I got some stuff in the oven, but...
Dude, Ridley just put out a music video.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I
explain.
did a cover. I did a cover of
called...
Boys of Summer by Don Henley with my friend Fez, who lives in
Eagles.
Minneapolis. Yeah, Don Henley from the Eagles. Yeah, it's on YouTube and Bandcamp.
It's a sweet music video.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did Finn do that one too?
No, I didn't.
You did.
Or we filmed ourselves doing it. Yeah.
So let's talk about the full album you guys put out. So you did the demos, you did the singles, and then you put out a full album. At that point, you knew it was pretty serious, or this band was going to be like, a big thing of your time. You're going to be putting a lot of time into this band. Amos, at any point did you think that this might sort of put Tenement on the side burner?
I don't know. I don't think I really thought about that at that point. It was just like another thing I was doing that I was really interested in doing, so I was willing to like split my time between the two. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much of an answer to that.
I mean, and I know the rest of the people here. I think most like Riley, you've done stuff with Tenement, have you?
Mm-hmm.
And I know Julia. I saw the big piece of your tambourine fly off at a music event once and almost hit me.
Tyler's played in Tenement a bunch of times. He played guitar in it for a while, played bass for a while.
So I mean, the bands are pretty intermingled in a way.
Yeah,
a little bit.
We did a tour together as well.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Did you guys like pulling double duty?
It was fun. I like doing that kind of thing.
So not only are you guys good with the music videos, but you also tour a lot, which I think sets you apart from bands in the Fox Cities. You're actually going out and hitting the road. When you're on the road, what do you notice about the scene in these other towns versus the scene in the Fox Cities?
It's the same everywhere.
Same shit, different day. No, there's like nuances and differences, and obviously big cities are, different from small towns, but there is kind of, because there's like a DIY kind of culture throughout the United States, it feels like you're kind of part of a big community of bands, and it's like sometimes it's similar genres or it's more punk leaning but like people who are just involved in DIY music, it feels like it's kind of a big like national community. So usually we are like seeing friends from that community when we're touring and stuff like that. But yeah, every scene's a little different, but also a little the same.
And we've done tours where it's more like DIY focused, and then other tours where we're the supporting band on a more established like tour in bigger venues. And it's just I'd say like the difference between those kinds of tours is more noticeable, because we're like there's less interaction with the audience on those like bigger stages, so I'd say like that vibe is different, but overall it's one long winding road.
And you guys put out High Country Skyway in 2020?
Yeah.
I guess so.
So I mean, that's
The last few years have been a blur.
That's COVID territory. So
Yeah.
I mean, did you have most of that album done when that kind of hit?
When did we record that? 2018 or something?
Yeah.
So it was nice you had that to put out kind of during the lull, I guess.
Yeah. And that video where we had to haul the drums forever we did that during COVID. So it was like all outside, partially because we like didn't want to be like inside around each other.
Yeah.
And during that time, Amos put out Acid Rain.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody else do any projects during that period? I don't know when you were recording Better Out Than In, Julia.
We did. Yeah, we did. We finished it up then. We started it before. It was already like started when the pandemic hit, but we finished it then. But I made some puppet stuff during COVID.
I forgot about that.
That's when Boy Howdy was born as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Out of the
nice.
flames.
Yeah. Out of the flames.
Yeah.
I've been watching
He
Rings.
rose out of the
How long was Boy Howdy like in the back of your mind to start something like that?
I think it came about because DUSK is not country enough for me. So.
Oh, and Boy Howdy is the king of country, right?
Exactly.
That's great. So
The dollar bin king of country.
Yeah.
and you've got a bin at the print shop, right? You still have that?
No.
Oh, you don't have that
No.
anymore.
I
Bummer.
retired.
That's a bummer.
He was just making too many dollars. It was.
But there's plenty of vintage clothing at Lovely Pop Vintage, located at a monoprint house on Wisconsin Avenue.
And so how long does it take to do a Dusk album? Like, can you take me through the process of like writing the music, sharing the music, collaborating on the music, recording the music, releasing the music?
Pandemic during the music.
Yeah, it can take anywhere from 24 hours to hundreds of thousands of hours, depending on the song.
Well, let's focus on Glass Pastures. So, when did you start working on the material for Glass Pastures?
Well, that was like in November of 2019, we went on tour with Screaming Females, and then I think we had mostly written all the songs that we were gonna start working on for Glass Pastures, and we had this whole schedule. We made a whole plan. We're like, all right, we're gonna do overdubs, underdubs, and then then COVID happened, and so then obviously it was just kind of took forever. But the material was ready. So then we started rehearsing during COVID. We were having these mask on rehearsals, and then we basically made a new plan. So we
there's a lot of discussion about whether to pick songs to record for an album, or to rehearse and record everything that we had and then choose the songs to make an album. So, everybody combining songs together, I think it was somewhere between 26 to 28 songs. So rehearsing all that material and then recording it and then overdubbing for all those songs. It was it took a lot of time. The first record that we made, the set amount of songs were kind of from the start had an idea, so that was a lot quicker. Kind of.
Still took a while.
That still took
the longest.
Yeah. But maybe through the process of overdubs is, different sessions that it kind of stretched out. When you're doing it yourself, and you have the ability to make all the choices that nobody is trying to put a time frame on it, you can go forever, and we're lucky that we released it. We somehow got it done and out. So,
well, that was a big shift from the first record. Was all single tracking, except for maybe drums and guitar was done together. Everything else was overdubbed. And then so we really wanted to capture our live sound for Glass Pastures. So we structured a whole session where we've filled up our house at Crutch of Memory, and that's why we had rehearsed so much, so that we could do all live tracking, other than vocals. And then so we added vocals later, and some pedal steel stuff. But yeah,
We've got a question here.
Oh,
You're on the air with Dusk. What's your question?
Hi, I was wondering if you could describe an inspiring moment you experienced related to your music. So maybe it was a moment that inspired you to write a song, or maybe it was an experience that you had performing at a show or connecting with a fan.
So there's a song that I wrote on the next record based on a tour we did. When was that tour? 2016?
yeah, 17. I don't know.
We were out in California, and we were going to visit my friend who lived in the mountains, and he didn't really give us a clear idea on how far into the mountains he lived. So
He lived on a weed farm on what county is that? Montgomery County, whatever, where all those weed farms are
not.
in Northern California.
So we get the address, and we're creeping up this mountain, and we're looking at the signs for the grade, and it just the percentage just keeps going up and up and up. And we finally get there, and we spend the night. And then, as we're coming back down the mountain the next day, we're winding through, like, the redwood forest, and someone who was driving with us was just, like, going way too fast, and, like, we're, like, all getting sick in the car. And we finally get to the end of the mountain, and our brakes are just, like, smoking. And the van, we just, like, okay, we gotta stop, give the van a break. And we get out of the car, and I hear Amos go, oh shit, somebody give me some water. And the brakes are just on fire. And then it broke our brake line, and we were in the middle of nowhere with no service. And so we had to send Amos and Julia walking to try and hitch a ride to the nearest town, and we were like stuck in 100 degrees in the shade, like.
And we had poured most of the water on the brakes, so they were just
the
stuck.
only liquid to consume was like a 30 rack of Rolling Rock.
And the nearest town was 30 miles away. So we were like prepared to start walking in this like 100-degree heat, but
Yeah, I went out into the road and stuck my thumb out.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, and some guy pulled over, and it was nice enough. I talked to him from like about 10 feet away. He kind of just had this frightful look, and I told him the situation, and he was like, well, who would come with me? And I'd be like, those two. And he kind of looked over at Amos and Julia, and he was like, okay, all right. So
Whoa.
yeah, so they got in and drove off, and because what it looked like, the GPS was kind of like awful, that it looked like that there was a town that was like 8 miles away. And I said to the guy, I was like, yeah, we need a ride to like this town. He's like, no, there's not a town for 30 miles. But yeah, so he took Amos and Julia, and then we were hanging out in the van, like.
Thought that was it.
with no contact with us, right? You're just
Yeah.
hoping we made it
Just
back.
no phone
Yeah.
service, just sitting there.
Zero phone service. And a cop drove by at one point going up the mountain from where we just came and was like, are you guys going to be okay out here? Like, he's like, you guys got water?
I think it was like was it 104, 105 or something? It was a really hot
He's like,
day.
well, be safe. I got to go this way. I'll check back in an hour.
Well, he was like, "Do you guys have water?" And they're like, "Not really that much." And he's like, "Okay, well, it's kind of the end of my shift, so."
And he never came back. I just also want to say that I was the one driving down this mountain, and the brakes completely failed. And that's why we stopped, is I rolled the van to a stop, got out, and saw that there were flames shooting out from our wheel. And we didn't know anything about this mountain we were on. Like, the night before when we were going up it, it was like, we didn't even know we were going up a mountain until things started to get foggy and cold. And we were like, where are we? And I'm like, whoa, Fitz lives at the top of a mountain? We wouldn't have came here, maybe, but...
Because we were trying to decide whether to stay with him or to camp in the redwoods, but we didn't actually have tents, but...
And we tried to camp, but then some dude, like, really did some creepy shit to us, like, in the redwoods, and so we just kept going.
Yeah, we had a very strange interaction. And
Hey, and that's in the song,
so,
too,
so
right?
Riley, so
bear
Riley.
mace and like roaches and muscle milk.
Yeah.
So Riley wrote a fantastic song about that whole
road side.
experience.
Out
Yeah.
on October 20th.
Let's appreciate the question. That's quite the story. So that's great. If you've got a question, you can call 920-358-0795. Do you guys pretty much rely on GPS when you're going from spot to spot, and has like Google Maps or whatever you use ever led you completely out of the way? Like, do you trust Google Maps 100%?
We're more of a Waze band.
Are we?
A little bit.
We were.
That's a little,
We've experimented.
Yeah, we've experimented. Yeah, I mean,
It's
I don't-
fine, yeah. It's all good. Well, one time I did just type in Ottawa, like the town, and so then I forgot to like change it to the location. So then all of a sudden we're driving and we just get to like downtown Ottawa, like the center of town, and I was like, "Yeah, it says we're here." And then I'm like, "This is weird." And we're just like in this kind of like, but then Then I typed in the address and it was all good.
We usually get to the gig.
Yeah, we get there just fine.
Oh, yeah, and I know Boy Howdy gets to the gig.
Yeah.
From, is that
Any
Cowboy
way you
Keith?
can.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly.
So when you guys are going on these tours, are you doing it in a van and then staying at houses? Do you do hotels? Like, what's the typical?
If we have friends, we stay with friends, or we make friends, or we find a hotel. Yeah.
We try to be economical.
Yeah, we try. Houses
That's
are
key.
ideal.
Yeah.
Riley asked some random lady who came to a show in South Dakota if we could stay at her house, and she was kind of like, yeah. And then we go to her house, and it's like a McMansion, and she's like got like a doctor for a husband, and but she was super nice, and she made us waffles the next morning.
I don't think she was like super sincere in her offer.
Yeah.
And
then we took her up.
we were desperate
Yes,
at the end of the
we will come
night.
to
So
your
I was
house.
like, hey, you still think you could put us up? And she's like, yeah, I think so.
So people
nice, though.
people are pretty kind when you're on the road.
Yeah.
They can be and they can't be.
I remember when Riley and Ridley were on for Darn It, and they were talking about, I think Jake or Ridley were talking about Riley, how he'd wait in the van until after everybody was coming out of the gas station, and then he'd go in and then come out with like this weird food. Like, I mean,
sandwich
Ice cream
usually.
sandwich.
what, do you guys have, when you're touring around with 6 people, do you just tour around with the band, or are there extra people you bring with to like do merch or whatever?
It's nice to have an extra person, but I feel like so far the only extra person we brought was Ridley when our record came out. But we might bring an extra person on this tour.
So the van is big enough for the people and the equipment?
Well, the van that
van,
we're
you know what I
looking
mean?
for,
Yeah.
buying, yeah. If we
anyone
could have
has a
someone
nice
call in
van.
with an offer for a 15-passenger van.
That would be
Low mileage.
fantastic. Yeah.
Well, you know, I've seen GoFundMe's for like lesser things like laptops and things like that. I mean, would you ever consider a GoFundMe for something like that?
I never really thought about it. That's a good idea, though.
Or is it GoFundMe? Or is it a
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter?
Yeah,
Kickstarter, I
same
don't
thing.
think you get the money if you don't make
Indiegogo.
it.
No,
though.
I've got an idea. It's this new van that runs only on rock and roll.
Ooh. The higher the
just
decibels,
need-
the... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You looked at my plans.
So you guys have a whole nother album of material that's not even going to be released on Glass Pastures.
It's going in the vault.
In the
Yes.
vault.
Under
it's locked
lock
up
and
tight.
key,
Yeah.
So it's stuff that's probably going to be released someday.
post-mortem, yeah.
Maybe.
Where does
Post-mortem
Yeah, postmortem after we all die in
on
a,
this tour.
Well, it's like Prince's vault. That's what I was kind of thinking.
where did the title Glass Pastures come from, and what does it mean?
It came from a 3-hour brainstorming session.
over Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we wanted something. I feel like we wanted something that just sort of inexplicably captured the feeling of the album. You know? Which is sometimes kind of hard to zone in on, those kinds of like creative choices. So we spent a lot of time just sort of like throwing stuff around that we thought felt like the record but also sounded good and kind of evoked a certain feeling, and we ended up ranked choice voting on the title. That's what came out at the end.
Do you remember what some of the other options were?
Yeah, Ham
Pastures.
Pleasures.
Oh, Ham Pleasures.
That's not a real one.
Ham Pleasures.
We
which,
talked
yeah.
about it a lot.
Well,
About
I don't. That's the funny thing is, Glass Pastures was not my vote. I had a different one that I was like, this one's awesome, and now I like can't remember it. And the album is just like Glass Pastures to me. So it worked. Ranked choice voting works. Should implement it in all 50 states.
Does Dusk get political? I mean, is that something you guys feel comfortable doing?
Getting political?
Yeah, I know you have in the past a
not?
little bit, but I mean, is activism something you guys are passionate about?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all our, or a lot of our songs have, you know, it's like our, you know, we state opinions about.
Yeah, some kind of vaguely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're political wimps.
Well, I think like being like just subtle about stuff sometimes can can be good too. So that's
Subliminal.
kind of a way to go about it, is being subtle and not in your face, and sometimes you get your point across better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Glass Pastures title came about, and then you guys did that picture, which looks like it's out on, is that Lake Winnebago, or where was that taken?
Lake Winnebago.
I know
Got
you've
it.
got a soft spot for Lake Winnebago, don't you, Amos?
Me?
Yeah.
I like it fine. I mean, I grew up in Nina, so it's in my blood, kind of.
So you guys knew when you're going out there that you're going to do the album cover, or was that something that just came about? You guys were just playing around on Lake Winnebago and thought, hey, let's take a picture, and then, well, that picture looks great.
We were
No.
ass fishing.
Yeah, we was ice fishing.
I mean, the album name it just basically means frozen lake. And so,
Oh yeah.
it's
what?
you know, we're like,
didn't-
what can we do with
I
this?
think Ridley wants his vote back.
Yeah, really.
We got a comment, I don't know, it says you guys, it's from Tony, he said you guys could do a sweet photo of all your glasses stacked up. I don't know if that's like an idea, if Tony's doing some artistic suggestions for things.
Glasses wall?
I'm thinking like your glasses, I think that's what he's talking about, but
Yeah.
Julie doesn't have
Yeah,
Yeah,
glasses.
sorry, Tony. I have perfect vision.
Well, thanks for the comment, that wasn't really a question,
Thanks for
but
the comment.
Walt had a
good
question.
idea.
Walt had a question
Walt is
yesterday.
up?
No, this
Oh.
was from yesterday, and it was already.
My
he
God.
posted it. It was the question was why.
Nice. Walt had a question. Why?
Yeah, I think I saw that, and I was trying to think of what that meant.
Yeah, why? Why indeed, Walt?
Is Walt ever going to be in Dusk?
Walt wasn't. Walt played on our first record.
That's true. He did play on our first album.
Yeah.
Already in
He
Dusk.
made that sweet Dusk money,
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
which is $0.
yeah, we had a few different people play on the first record, because it was still kind of the feeling of that it was like more of a recording. But I don't know. I don't know if I guess if it was still like a recording project, it would more felt like a collaboration, like that the doors were open for that. And then I think just as time went on, that it was more. Yeah, we got enough people to cover it. We don't need to.
The Waltz of the world
Yeah.
can stay home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I think we got enough guitar players in the band to cover acoustic tracks and such on the record. So, but it was great. It was great to have all the additional people that played on that first album.
Chris Gold played on it.
Yeah.
I didn't.
And
I
Ben
didn't know that.
DeCourcy from Holy Sheboygan.
Yeah.
Is Holy Sheboygan still going?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll never die.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
I was going to ask if Bill was here. I was going to pressure Amos and Bill like about Car City.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
I mean, that's something I know you guys have stuff recorded too. How many songs do you have from various projects collectively that you could release today?
Oh, and quick shout out to Bill. Bill was sick. We feel bad for Bill. Hope he gets better soon. He will in the future, obviously.
He has a cold.
He will get better.
He's doing a.
We have faith that he'll get better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have nothing that could just be released today, I don't think.
I have maybe 200 songs,
200?
probably.
Dude, you've been holding down on
Short
us.
ones.
Short ones.
Yeah, I got lots of little ideas. Tyler has a bunch of songs, right?
Yeah. I'm sitting on like 10 right now.
When you're writing these
I got
songs,
200.
Yeah.
who's got 200?
10, 200.
You're like 10, huh? Cool.
Yeah. Try times 20.
Well, so Tyler, when you're like writing songs, are you thinking this might be a good fit for Dusk? Or it sounds like you kind of hide them away for yourself for later.
There's
Like a squirrel. Across my mind.
yeah, there's always the potential for it. I just kind of write the way that I write, and I think about like the possibility of. I mean, you can change the style of a song just by the instrumentation. So it's quite possible to make any song a Dusk song.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
I mean, we had a new metal song we cut from this album.
We did?
Yeah.
that's right. That's right.
And a jazz
That's
song.
So that's a
And a jazz
serious.
song.
That's a serious story. You had a new metal song.
Yeah, I can show it to you. I can show it to you.
Off the air.
I'll send it to you.
Crutch of Memory. You guys are doing some cool stuff there, and you've been for a while. Is Crutch of Memory something that you guys like to keep sort of contained to friends, or you don't publicly like put it out there? Like you can record, come to me, we'll record you. You've done projects with like Tim Buchanan, right there in house, where Dusk is sort of the backup band, and then releasing an album that way. But can you tell me a little bit about Crutch of Memory? What made you decide to start that, and kind of what it is, what it has kind of developed into since its original inception? Is it different?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of our way of like, instead of just solely focusing on like our own music, projects where like it involves our own egos, like bringing in other people and working with them like collaboratively to create things with other people, and I don't know, it's just a way to do something new, I think. And so we just kind of do it when we can, in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When you're working with somebody like Tim, are you helping him with songwriting, or you're just adding on to songs?
With Tim,
he already has?
it was kind of unique with Tim because we, when we recorded that, it was kind of just like, it wasn't really, we didn't know what we were going to do with it quite yet. It was kind of like he played a show in town at the Draw. He played like an acoustic show, and I was watching him, and I was like, we could, you could come back to our studio later tonight, and you could just play us again, and I'll record you, and so we did that because I thought it would sound cool in our live room. And then he organized the next day, he wanted Dusk to like back him up on a song in our studio. So we had all this material, and we're like, well, why don't we just release it? And that became the first Crutch of Memory thing. So that didn't really go with like the conceptual model we had in mind, but it was kind of our way of just like putting something out and learning how to do it. So yeah.
And you've got a full-blown studio at the space, and that I think probably gives you a little bit more creative freedom. If you've got an idea, you can go record it right away and demo things.
Yeah.
And I know you've done projects like Eric Krieger.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, is that something you're going to do more of at Crutch of Memory?
I'll see when time permits or energy or whatever. Like, people, there are some things on the calendar right now that people have gotten a hold of me, but it's nothing I'm keeping a secret, but it's just kind of like word of mouth under the table, get a hold of me.
Well, I suppose if you get too busy with that, it'll start squeezing time away from the other projects, and before you know it, you're going to be a recording engineer full time. And
yeah, it's not really my goal.
Right.
We put out books too because Chloe Allen's involved, and so that's the way it's changed in the past few years. Is that Chloe has been putting out her like kind of Pastures reviews, and is going to be doing some zines and other books and stuff. So that's a cool new part of our label that I like.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
Literary input.
Yeah.
That's great. So, like, where would people get, like, access to this stuff? Would it be purchased online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or like we usually bring some to shows, like the books and stuff. Yeah, and Chloe's doing like a zine thing with Amano in October. I think it's when we're on tour, so we can't go, but they're gonna like have some like zine workshop. So, yeah, I don't know. Stay tuned for that.
I love it when you guys decorate the storefront. The window, like, it's during winter, like Santa, just like different things in there. Who's doing the window decorating?
Mostly us.
Yeah, we just do it together.
Yeah.
It's really time consuming, so we haven't been able to do it lately. But
It's so hard. We've spent like days and days and days on it.
yeah, I've
Like,
always
all
loved.
days. Sorry.
I've always loved window dressing, I've always been fascinated with it, you know, like the classic stuff at the like Macy's in New York and whatever. So, you know, when we got those big picture windows, it was always kind of a dream of ours to like fill them up with things. But you don't realize how much work it is just to fill those tiny windows with something that's like visually arresting from the road or even from the sidewalk. So, you know, we literally spend weeks making those things sometimes, and we have to put everything else down while we're doing it. So,
Do you get people stopping in, like thinking it's a music store in there or some kind of store?
I have had people ask me on the street whether our studio is a music store. Yeah.
And
But
are you-
one time a trucker referred to it as the Puppet Factory.
Oh.
Or somebody was like walking by, and he's like, "I'm walking by the Puppet Factory."
Right. No, I was upstairs and I heard him. He was on his cell phone walking past our studio, and I heard him say, "Yeah, I'm walking past the Puppet Factory."
There's like nice curtains for those windows, but at a point, we were practicing in the space prior to those curtains, and people would like walk by and see us practicing, and they would just stop and just watch us. And I think, if I remember, wasn't a family one day I was walking by, they had like a young daughter where we like stopped the song, and she was just really excited about it that we let them in.
Oh yeah.
And then so they like came into the space, and then we played another song. That was pretty cute. People were pretty fascinated. It's just like what seems to be like a different or unique thing. So.
Yeah, having those big windows for recording sessions that face the street, it's a very unique thing, and it lends a dynamic to recording sometimes, or like rehearsing, that you are kind of on display, and people do walk by and they stand in front of the windows and watch sometimes, or like they'll give you a thumbs up or whatever, you know, and even like just like you can hear the sounds of the street beyond the windows, and it kind of changes the way you record and the way you approach everything in a way, and it's interesting. I mean, it's flawed, but it's interesting. I think flaws like that force people to kind of innovate and do things they wouldn't normally do if it was a completely isolated studio too, you know. So
It's a vibe.
yeah, it's a vibe. Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
A lot of trains on the album if you listen hard enough.
Yeah. I mean, there's that story about Elvis recording at, I don't remember what studio it is in Memphis, but it's the exact same situation as what we're in, where it's on the corner of a street where semis pass constantly, and you know, if a semi drove by and was too loud, they'd have to stop the take and start it over again. And it was a bunch of guys in one room, similar to ours, you know. And I do think it changes the way people interact with each other, the way they interact with the room, and the way the whole recording moves along, and it makes it unique for those reasons.
I wrote down Riley's "It's a Vibe" thing. That's a good title too. That should be on a list somewhere.
Bumper stickers and T-shirts.
You had Boris the Sprinkler record an album there too, which that's
yeah.
pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
Were you a fan of Boris growing up?
Yeah, I was kind of. It was a band that I knew mostly from punk comps, and I knew that they were from around here, but it was a little like when they were playing a lot, it was a little before my time. So it wasn't like something that was really ingrained in me, but it was like you had a lot of respect for them because they were like the elders of this area, you know. So it was like pretty exciting to like, you know, hang out with those guys and get to know them, and yeah, it was cool.
Joe Steinhardt, who owns Don Giovanni, is like a huge Boris the Sprinkler fan, though.
Yeah. So he was like, dude, you know, like asking me, you know, play-by-plays of what was going on.
Can you guys each tell me something that, besides music, something that you like to do, a hobby, something you like to do when you're not doing music? Tyler, we can start with you if you're ready.
Sure. I guess I've been getting into biking more. I live in Madison, and the bike trails are fantastic. So trying to, in the past couple of years of like trying to gain distance with the rides and be out for a few hours at a time. And I had a road bike where people are gonna call me bluff and be like, bullshit, he doesn't know anything about bikes. But the gear shifters were down on the frame, and so it was just kind of a situation of like pedaling through, because it was just weird to shift down. But I think last year I got myself a decent Trek that had the shifters on top, and then so being able to change gears like going up and down hills, and it's a great way to spend a morning and afternoon. It's fantastic. I mean, also, fortunate that Madison is accommodating in that sense, that they prioritize that to some degree. So,
Julia?
Well, I mean, I do lots of stuff all the time, but I guess one particular obsession, lifelong obsession I've had is food. That's a big one for me. So I like to garden, but I also like to cook. And yeah, some people out there may know me from my role as the award-winning chef at Harmony Pizza. Now I just cook for myself and my friends. But it was my birthday last weekend, and I had a big eggplant parmesan feast. It was pretty fun.
It was amazing.
Amos.
Me, I like looking for records. Like finding the dirtiest, most deprived buildings full of junk that I can, and finding records. It's something that's instantly gratifying, whereas music is often a struggle to like get to the point that you feel satisfied with it. But when I'm out digging for records, it's bliss. Just feels good.
What's your biggest find?
Oh man, last summer it was just a very special thing. There was a barn in Hobart that this guy's dad died, and he had this humongous record collection. And he was really bad at advertising this. He didn't really have a very good ad on the internet, but I found it somehow, and he was selling. It was $1 a record, and there were hundreds of thousands of records in this barn, and he was just going up there every weekend and trying to clear out this barn. And he was basically like, "You want to come look at these records? I'll be here every weekend." So every weekend I would go there, probably 9 hours a day, and get up on a ladder. Like, the shelves went up like 15 feet, and I was just on a ladder all day digging through boxes of records. And I don't remember the last time I was happier.
How many records did you end up buying?
I probably, over the course of the summer, maybe bought 1,500 records or so. Yeah.
Were there a lot of other people in the barn when you were there?
No, there's occasionally a person or two. But it was mostly just me and this guy. And listening to bad country music on his little radio and digging through records, and it was fantastic. That's my idea of a good time.
And then I woke up.
I have that dream a lot, but that one was real.
Ridley, what's your passion when you're not doing music?
I have a lot of different things too, but I think the one that I'll choose to share is dice. I like dice. Yeah, I have a lot of different colors and shapes of die, and big ones, little ones. I have an ottoman that's in the shape of a die. Riley got me this giant wooden die chest once.
It's like a toy chest.
Yeah. We unfortunately had to let that one go when we moved, but Yeah, I don't know. I think just at some point I started getting interested in the way that chance kind of plays into my creativity in an intriguing way. Just sort of like submitting to the unknown of reality, you know. And I think that's kind of where I started getting interested in dice. But I also just think they look cool and they're fun to have.
Yes.
Yes.
The gambler.
Yeah.
Riley?
I play a lot of Magic the Gathering. Right now, I have a commander deck from the new Lord of the Rings crossover set. It's the Frodo and Sam partner commander, black, white, green, food, hobbits based. So if anyone wants to play some Magic sometime, get a hold of me.
Your brother Jake's into that too, isn't he?
Oh, we all grew up.
All the
playing
Crow
game.
brothers are into that?
15 plus years of Magic the Gathering.
Very cool. So I learned some stuff. Biking, food, records I knew about, dice, and magic. That's cool. So what's the song? We're kind of starting to run out of time here, but is there one song off Class Pastures that was the easiest to record, and which one was the hardest, and why?
The why is the hard part. The why is kind of the mystery.
Walt's what? Maybe that's what Walt was wondering about.
Oh my god.
The why.
That's the why.
Ridley has a song called Incredible Edible Egg, and I think that was the easiest song. And it came together really easy, and it sounds
Just
great. Sounds great, yeah. And who knows why?
Yeah, you guys were talking about how like different songs of ours can be adapted to be DUSK songs. I like what?
well,
I
you just said
songs.
duck on accident.
Duck songs.
Sorry.
Does Ridley sing on the Incredible Edible Egg?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a song I wrote that was kind of more of like a slower, like waltzy ballad kind of thing, and we just turned it into this pickin' like bluegrass kind of song. And yeah, it just sort of came together in this fun, easy way.
Yeah.
The hardest song was?
I don't know.
Yeah, they were
Probably one of the ones
that
that didn't end up on the record, right? I don't know.
Probably. Yeah. Yep.
There was one song we played to a drum machine, and we had to, and the drum machine is analog, and it was fluctuating in tempo ever so slightly throughout the track. So we had to like click and drag to get Amos's drums to line up with the electronic drums. So that was like
That
a
was
tedious
tough.
Yeah.
process.
Well, and we also kind of made an editing decision to that song because we had a jam out for a long time, and then trying to shorten that a bit, and then realizing that like the fluctuation was a big problem as well for that. Yeah.
Is there Amos, you're doing most of the engineering, correct?
We kind of split it on here, but I did a lot of footwork with the mixing.
Okay. So since everybody's sort of helping out with that aspect and everybody's writing songs, kind of based on past projects, does that make this band a little easier to work with versus doing like a majority of the songwriting?
No. I think it's hard. It's always hard when you have to compromise. I think that's what people have a problem with. You know, people have trouble compromising on things, and it makes everything hard. Doesn't make it worse, but it makes it hard.
But it makes it fun and good too.
It can be fun, but it is hard.
It's a challenge.
It is definitely a challenge.
It's a unique aspect of Dusk where we don't have a leader, like a single leader, which is fun and challenging. You know?
And frustrating.
Yeah.
I hate it.
And I'm taking charge.
Oh no! Boy, Howdy is a duck.
I'm proud to announce.
Is there a place in Appleton that, like, do you guys recommend, that place that you really love to play at, place you love to support?
We love Misfits.
Yeah,
Misfits.
Holly at Misfits rocks. She's open. She's really supportive of bands, and she's open to weird ideas. And she facilitated an all ages show in the parking lot, even though she's just a bar. Like by just a bar, I mean she doesn't like serve food or like it's not an all ages space, but she like made room for it and just was down to do it. It was really cool. She's great.
Yeah, Misfits rules.
Mm-hmm.
John Adams is also awesome.
Yeah.
And his like when the Draw was doing shows, it was great, and he's always supportive in any way that he can.
Yeah. John Adams is super welcoming for us.
Hunan won.
Hunan won.
Great place to eat.
This last question is one I actually got from Julia for a band reaction, and I just love it. I just love this question. Like I've used it a lot. Each of you guys, what are you the most proud of?
That
life?
is like a question I would say. I don't remember saying that.
But it's like such a great question because
Right.
it's like, what are you the most proud of? I mean, as it pertains to Dusk.
Yeah. What are we most proud of in Dusk?
Oh boy.
I am proud. I mean, I'll just go first.
Only fair.
I am proud. We were talking about how hard it is to be collaborative, and it is really hard, and it takes twice as long to do anything because you gotta talk about it. And I feel like we've had times where it's frustrating and times where it's easy, and I think we've gotten a lot closer because of it. And I'm really proud of our I'm really proud of us for doing it and what we've come up with, even though we decided to make it harder and more challenging.
I mean, that's really the way I feel too. It's just like what we're doing is really hard. Like
No, I know. That's
one
what I'm saying I'm proud of.
Yeah, no one is taking charge. It's like
Yeah.
yeah.
So collectively, or Tyler's thinking, I can tell.
No,
I was thinking wheels on.
Like it feels silly, but it's exactly the same. I feel proud of the support that we give each other in this band. There's a lot of bands where people are kind of they're in it just to go and play live shows, and it's like, yeah, you just tell me what to do, like, and I want to play, and I just want like attention for it, or like I want to get paid. I don't like, people don't really care like how well the band does. It's just as long as I get $50 or $100 to come out and play the show, and this band is money goes into the pot, like, and we make records that we sing songs, we write songs, and we support each other on all that, and it's just it's a wonderful experience to be part of that. So
I lied about my last question. What's the rollout process going to be for Glass Pastures? What do you guys have coming up to promote it? What do you have coming out? What are you working on? What can we expect to see before the album comes out? And will there be an album release show?
I forgot about the album release show.
Well, we're really proud of this record. We put a lot of time into it, and we think it's good. Yeah. Well, the second video comes out tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Should we say what it is?
Sure.
It's called Dusk. Our song Dusk, our titular song, comes out tomorrow. And then we have another video coming out on, I want to say, I don't know. I shouldn't say. On October 20th, right?
October 18th.
Oh, okay.
So a few days after the album comes out.
A few days before, yep.
Or before.
Yeah.
There will be a release show on October 18th in Appleton, and it'll be great and good. And
where is that show taking place?
That's
Somewhere special.
That's a great question. Yeah, somewhere really good.
Some really good and great.
So it's to be determined.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was good. Thanks. So it sounds like there's still some finishing touches being put on the rollout yet.
That's how we roll.
That is how we roll.
I mean, as far as the record is concerned, stuff's on schedule. And coming
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, the record's all scheduled out.
Yeah, and we're going on tour. Starting at that time, and then.
Is the tour all planned out?
Yeah. Yeah, so the release show will be the 18th in Appleton, and then the 19th we're in Minneapolis, and that's the first day of our tour.
How long is the tour going to last?
It starts October 18th in Appleton and ends in Indianapolis on November 12th.
Wow, that's a pretty lengthy tour there.
Yeah.
You got to bring it to the people, you know?
Yeah.